Peace, peace. I'm flowing with the way of the harmony, as always. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out before I get into everything. Basically, I'm just gonna do this like a podcast style, but I wanted to say much gratitude for the sister who gifted me these beautiful crystals right here. So both of these are calcite. This one's like a green-yellow calcite, and then this one is I'm not sure the specific name on this. I still need to look up a little bit more of the metaphysical properties, but it's like a mixed calcite, or what is it called? A fire ore calcite, something like that, because it features calcite, obviously, both white and red, and then features hematite, and yeah, I think those are the main components. But like I said, I need to look up a little bit more of the metaphysics on this one. But just within the color spectrum and within the energy itself, it gives something like almost like a grounded fire, but a fire that also extends up into high vibrational energy, if that makes sense, because calcite deals with new insights, high vibrational energy, connecting to the etheric realm, also being able to balance things and ground things as well. And it has hematite, so hematite is very grounding, very protective, and great for stimulating your magnetic energy, so pulling things in, pulling in new opportunities. But you gotta have that action to follow through with those opportunities. You know what I mean? And green calcite obviously deals with the heart energy, balancing and flowing through truth, and to a degree, expressing your truth as well. But yeah, much gratitude for the sister that gave me these. It looks like it's coming through pretty good. I got the sun perfectly on it. I mean, the camera's not really all that good at times, but it looked like it coming through. I don't know if it's catching the rainbows, but the next thing I wanted to get into is actually the full moon in Libra, but it's dealing with the teachings of Virgo. You know what I mean? Because it's dealing with the fixed star Merkaba, or Merkaba. I don't know how to pronounce it. My bad, damn. But it's dealing with those teachings, and it's a very harmonious full moon for the most part. There is some aspects where it could be a little bit, bring up things that make you a little bit irritated or have some type of tension. But those are things you can learn from and elevate to a new plane. You know what I mean? With those tensions, they most likely will come from a relationship with yourself or with another being, as well as just your communicative properties. Libra is cardinal air, so it is an innovative sign, but it's somewhat of a dependable sign too. It's a leader, but it's a leader that works best in a tight-knit group. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure your communication is on point. You're speaking your truth, and you're also speaking to the people that really resonate with you and you really vibe with on an authentic, real level. If not, then really it's not needed. You know what I mean? And I've been seeing the aspect too of like distractions. Distractions are coming up, and if they do come up, make sure you release and let go of those things. Distractions serve no purpose. Make sure you let go and transmute all the things that don't serve you. You know what I mean? There's a million little distractions that can try to fuck up your path. And it all depends on you whether you're going to let that happen or not. You got to have the willpower to be able to focus your path and create the things that you really want and deserve in your life. You know what I mean? With that being said too, let me get into my notes real quick. There's a couple other aspects that I wanted to bring up. As far as the energy, I know that there is planets, both like for instance, Venus and Mars are going to be squaring each other. So that can be like that, what's it called? That tension that I was speaking about. I was looking into the planets a little bit. So Mars and Venus are squaring each other. That could be the tension within relationship, within a type of communication that you're bringing forth to the table. But it can also turn on the flip side and be used as passion. You know what I mean? So it all depends on how you balance it and how it affects you in your now and where these planets are in your chart. You know what I mean? So make sure you pay attention to that. Do a little bit of research on the full moon and how it's going to affect you, and just the overall energies at hand. But know that if you put the right intent in and you practice your affirmations, things will manifest with ease. Some of us, we can do affirmations 1 to 3 times a day, every other day, and this can manifest like the snap of a finger. Some of us, we have to practice those affirmations a little bit more heavily throughout the day, do different, throughout the day, over multiple days or weeks until the manifestation comes. But it also depends on what you're trying to manifest or what you're trying to create. You know what I mean? And it can be physical or non-physical. You know what I mean? But as long as you're flowing in your spiritual harmony, everything will be. You know what I mean? Destiny comes forth. But let me get into my notes because I wanted to bring up a couple things, because this is more than just a full moon, more than just a super full moon, how they say it. You know what I mean? This is more so dealing with the equinox. The equinox, the equal exchange of energies, and it is dealing with the sun going into Aries. So by all means, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. You know what I mean? And the moon is going to be in the exact opposite, which is Libra, and that's how all full moons really are. The sun is always opposite the moon. You know what I mean? But with that being said, too, let's see. Get to my notes here. But yeah, it's just an overall time to build upon relationships, speak your personal truth, continuously work on your communication, and make sure you're in harmony with your energies first and foremost. And make sure you communicate what's authentic to your being. If something is not feeling right, if something is off, by all means communicate it. If something is on, if something is feeling right, for lack of a better word, communicate it. Don't hold things back. Also, this is a great time to have balance or harmony between the scales. You know what I mean? Our personal scales, our personal balance. It's all a little bit different for our unique individual. You know what I mean? But this is the time to, truly let that bell ring into the future. Let that bell ring into the new year. This is the new year, the new opportunity, the new beginnings. You know what I mean? As we exit that Pisces, aka the feet, and rotate back to the head. You know what I mean? Aries. So there's a lot of subconscious traveling that we've been going through, a lot of subconscious energies that we've been dealing with. So it's both been showing the positive aspects as well as the negative aspects, or the non-beneficial aspects that we can work on. But it's not something you have to get stuck in. It's not something that you have to be glued to in the physical moment. If you are going through a struggle, if you are going through a non-beneficial circumstance, it's just showing you that you have the power to change. You have the power to transmute the energy and step forth with a new beginning. You know what I mean? It's just that you have to have the strength, the faith, the trust within yourself to do it. You know what I mean? Also, it's a great time for abundance, a great time for relationships, like I said many a time already. And overall, just a great time for opportunities. So make sure you stay aware of what's really being magnetically attracted to you. Pick and choose which opportunities you want to pursue, which opportunities you want to develop, and which opportunities you want to elevate from or elevate to. You know what I mean? Also, with that being said, I've been catching the vibe, and like the thing that, like I said, with the irritation type vibe, the thing that irritates me is honestly some of this social media type shit, this social shit. Because to go and try to find your friends and communicate with people, sometimes you have to go to this electronic device just to communicate with them. Otherwise, they won't. You get what I mean? So if all this technology just crashed and just didn't exist, will people really communicate with you? That's something that we all need to reflect upon. I've seen it a little bit. I've seen other people that have been dealing with it. Other people have spoke to me about it. I've spoke to them about it. And it's more so just about, you gotta meet everybody halfway. You know what I mean? You meet me halfway, I meet you halfway. It's all the harmonious flow. You know what I mean? We can speak our truths. We can get to the bottom of things. You know what I mean? More so, it's about the, how do I say this? Yes, it's a beneficial thing to communicate over these platforms, to inspire people, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to hate on it or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, sometimes you gotta meet in the flesh, to really get that connection. And I'm not talking anything like it doesn't even have to be, okay, with the relationship vibe, it could be sexual, it could be non-sexual, you know what I mean? But sexual also means just a collaboration of ideas. Doesn't really always mean have to be like that touchy-feely, you know what I mean? It can get there if it's true and harmonious, you know what I mean? But if you can't meet somebody in the flesh, then maybe there's more for you to reflect upon. There's more for you to develop. You know what I mean? With that being said, too, everybody knows their strength, everybody knows their weakness, and everybody knows how to harmonize the two. But is everybody willing to do so? You know what I mean? So it's all about getting out of your own way to truly step with confidence, to truly create that path, to truly create that, to truly live your path, you know what I mean? Also, there is nothing that we really need. Like, for instance, like even with doing the research on this full moon, even with doing the research on the equinox, you don't necessarily even need to look it up through books or online. You already know through just the energies, through just viewing the sky, through just your internal energies. If you really are in harmony with yourself, you can figure these things out just by the truthful vibes through your inner guidance and speaking to yourself. That's the vibe that I've been catching. Actually, that's one of the most important things to talk about right now, actually, is how we can get all the answers to our questions by just asking ourselves. Whether we speak it verbally or whether we're thinking it, but as long as we're aligned with the truthful vibes of the heart, you know what I mean? So don't be afraid or ashamed to talk to yourself. Talk to yourself and ask the truthful questions, because we will get the answers. A higher self is here to answer these questions. And this is the perfect time, because as this equinox is here, we are taking new steps. We are like that ram, that head, that Aries, taking action. You know what I mean? It could be action right here and the now, or maybe you have to work through a little thing and then take action. But action is now. And make sure to stay in the present moment. If something is getting you a little bit off, if you are drifting too far, whether it's in the mind or too physically attached or whatever it be, make sure to transmute, make sure to clear your energy up, make sure to balance yourself. Make sure to be authentically you, because we are all great in our own way, some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Also, tying into that too, reliable vibes. What can we really depend on if all tech crashes? What can we really depend on? Who can we really depend on? Can we really depend on ourselves? Are you truly independent, or are you truly dependent on something? You know what I mean? Make sure, like I said in the past, everything resonates with us for a reason. So the things we have in our life are meant to be. You know what I mean? What we want to create in our lives is already pursuing us. It's just a matter of aligning with that frequency, aligning with that vibration, aligning with that energy. You know what I mean? Understand your universe. You know what I mean? Understand your universe. More so is the way to say it, but I think you get it. But yeah, what's reliable? More so like the reliable vibes, the truthful vibes. Focus on the truthful vibes. Like I mentioned, it's the traveling through the cycle, the ending at the feet, back to the head. Basically, that subconscious realm, that little dark side of what's it called? The dark side of the rotation, I guess you could say. But it's not dark as in negative or bad or any other bullshit attachments that somebody might try to put to it. It's the dark side, meaning where we can bring forth and spark new ideas, or that opportunity to cleanse and release the things that were holding us back, the things that no longer serve us. You know what I mean? Balance those scales. Focus and work on you. Yes, there's times, like when you're working on yourself, you might want to have a moment of solitude. But it is dealing with air energy. It is dealing with those teachings of the immutable earth, Virgo energy. And that Libra is inspiring us to communicate, to be innovative leaders, to be able to have a tight-knit group who we can all depend on each other. You know what I mean? But then again, we don't need any external person, place, or thing, any external reference. You know what I mean? Just be reliable on yourself first and foremost. Make sure you have that spiritual connection in tune, in harmony, and everything will naturally flow. Everything will naturally be. I mean, I hope I'm putting that. I hope I'm putting that in a way that everybody understands. But that's just kind of how it's coming about. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Also, it's important to, as it deals with, the spring energy. Spring is coming here. We just went through that cycle of death, aka winter, of cold, of we're moving into to where the sun is now being exalted, where the sun is now back. You know what I mean? So it's that springing into action. It's working with your solar plexus, your sun, springing into action. Being able to shine through your authentic light, being able to shine through your natural abilities. You know what I mean? Also, if you feel inspired to do something, flow through that inspired action, whether you have all the facts at that moment or not. Little pieces come along the way. We learn from our experience. Our experience is our spiritual experiment. You know what I mean? Some things we get all at once. Some things we have to chisel away at. Some things we get little bits at a time. But it all shows the bigger picture. It all shows the bigger canvas. And then that frequency is sweet. You know what I mean? But yeah, definitely flow through your inspired action. And build upon that inspired action. If you feel inspired to do something, by all means do it in the now. Don't wait. Maybe you have something that you have to sidestep. But flow through your inspired action. That's what's most important right now. During this equinox. Or solstice. You can almost call it a solstice. Basically, but also, with that inspired action vibe though, don't feel like you need to pressure yourself or rush. You know what I mean? If you rush somewhere, then that sets the tone, and then you're constantly going to be rushing. Never rush, never pressure yourself, but always flow through inspired action. Flow through that truth. You know what I mean? And let your heart lead the way. You know what I mean? Your heart is that center point. It knows all truth. Whether your mind knows it or not, your heart knows it. You know what I mean? Also, feel the flow and move as needed. That kind of ties into what I was saying. If you feel it, do it. If you're not feeling it, don't do it. You know what I mean? If you feel like communicating it, communicate it. If you feel like not communicating it, don't communicate it. You know what I mean? You know what to do through your feeling. But make sure that you are truly authentic. You know what I mean? Also, since we are dealing with a little bit of that Mercury retrograde, I actually wanted to do a whole nother video on this, but just to speak about it a little bit right here. We're going to be in our minds some way, shape, or form, whether it's good or bad, But it's important not to overthink. There is going to be, to a certain degree, old ways of thinking, but some of those old ways of thinking can be beneficial, and some of them can be not beneficial. You know what I mean? For example, if you're thinking about something like an old idea that comes to light, but you can put it to a new project, you can create it in this new light and innovate it so that it's a new, fresh idea that out of an old idea that you had that maybe didn't fully develop, then that's a beneficial aspect. But if it's an old thinking pattern that comes up that really drags you down, makes you feel in a lower state, is a lower vibrational energy, that by all means transmute it. And it's important when you're thinking this too, like when we are traveling through these different environments, traveling through these different dimensions. You look in here, you look in there, you're picking up on a frequency that's stimulating your mind, that you're receiving a certain thought that's not yours. Make sure you don't consent. Make sure you say no thank you to that thought that doesn't serve you, because that thought can be coming from him over there, her over there. Those people over there thinking something that's non-beneficial that somehow you pick up on. You know what I mean? Make sure you're focusing on the thoughts that are really yours. You're marinating in those thoughts and seeing what's really yours, and expressing your truthful thoughts. You know what I mean? Yeah, so think but don't overthink. It's the main teaching of Mercury retrograde. And Mercury is kind of like that childlike planet, because it's going to be all over the place. It's going to be fast. It's going to be rapid. Rapid thinking, rapid action. But don't overexhaust yourself. You know what I mean? Let me see what else. Also, tying into that aspect of being reliable, or reliable vibes, being reliable with ourselves on the things that we say we're going to do and the things we want to follow through with, as well as having reliable relationships, reliable people within our lives. You know what I mean? It's a great time to strengthen telepathic vibes, telepathic frequencies and messages. So that's also tying into being able to get the answers getting the answers to your questions, being able to ask yourself the questions that you need answers to right now will be answered, as well as being able to telepathically communicate with your loved ones, whether they across city, across state, across the globe, whatever, across the universe. You know, the ancestors that have passed, but they're not forgotten. They're not gone. They're always with us. So we can receive these telepathic vibes. We can receive these telepathic messages, as well as we can send them and give them. You know what I mean? But it all depends on how willing and ready everybody is to give and receive those messages. You know what I mean? Yeah. Take the key out of the car real quick. I don't know how much of the music was in the background, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Also, be honest with our journey. That very much so ties into feeling the flow. Be honest where we are right now. Be honest what we are ready for. You know what I mean? And take those little steps along the way to get to our so-called destiny, or what we deserve. But you all do this by knowing your path, by flowing through your path. You know what I mean? Also, like I always say, let the mind drift with the current of the heart. So let your thinking be influenced by the heart's truth, on all the truthful vibes within our inner essence. You know what I mean? Our inner guidance will lead us to the right opportunity, will lead us to the right space and location. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to call it. I was actually catching another vibe while I was just saying that, but I'm just going to leave it at that for right now. But yeah, definitely just an important time to balance thoughts, have a clear state of mind, work through inspired action, and feel your frequency and flow. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, just the main overall theme, or whatever you want to call it, of this full moon and this spring equinox is The year's full cycle is complete. New opportunities, new expansion of path. It's always a good time to be creative, whether it's day or night. A lot of people are going to say, oh, it's a good night to be creative. Every night's a good night to be creative. Every day's a good day to be creative. You know what I mean? As long as you're truly feeling it, work through that inspired action. We are creators and co-creators of our reality. So if you're feeling it, create it and keep it flowing. You know what I mean? Also, when we are in that creator essence, that's when we are in harmony with the ancient one, with the divine. You know what I mean? And that's what I truly mean by it. The divine spirit, the truthful spirit. You know what I mean? So yeah, just listen to what you feel, balance your thoughts, flow through your inspired action, and make sure to communicate. Those are the most important things at this time. As a spring equinox, like even with the what's it called? The words that are used, like March. We in March, the middle of March, ending of March, right? We're marching into the new year. We're marching into the new year. You know what I mean? And that bell's gonna be ringing as we march in. So whether it's a frequency of beneficial or non-beneficial depends on us. You know what I mean? So make sure that when that bell is ringing, when we're ringing our bell, when we're coming in, when we're marching in with these new opportunities, that they're beneficial, that we're taking that inspired action. We're following through. We're communicating. We're expressing our truth. Unapologetically. Be authentically you. Be authentically us, you know? Because nothing can really fuck with us. Unless you let it. You know what I mean? Make sure to always stay in harmony with your subconscious as well as your conscious mind. But remember, the subconscious is a whole lot more powerful than the conscious mind. You know what I mean? So make sure, like even with one of those old sayings, damn, I don't remember who, I think it was Bobby Hemmett or one of the, I'm pretty sure it was Bobby Hemmett, but when he brought it up about you got to apologize to your subconscious mind. Everything it goes through is everything that you've been through and everything that you're maybe not even aware of. So apologize to your subconscious mind and program your subconscious mind through your affirmations, through speaking positive words to yourself, through speaking truthful about where you are and where you're going. You know what I mean? Practice these things. Live these things and be these things. You know what I mean? And by these things, I mean our personal truth. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's basically all I got to say. Peace, peace. I'm flowing with the way of the harmony, as always. Shit, I'm ready for spring. What about you? For real, right? I'm ready for spring. No more cold. I'm ready for that sun and warmth, right? We almost get into my season. Yeah, that's basically it. That's all I got to say. Yeah, let's jump into that new action. Peace, peace.